What's up, everybody? Cause I'm a Fury here, and by now I bet you've heard EA, Electronic Arts, the devil incarnate when it comes to gaming and loot boxes and predatory practices, all that shit. The part of the reason why shit is so fucked up in the gaming industry, they had to remove loot boxes and shit from their games in Belgium, because Belgium is not playing that shit. And there's people waking up to the world to this whole thing about loot boxes and how it is pretty much legalized gambling, and the victims are children for the most part, and the victims are adult gamers for the most part, because we come from a time where we knew how legit gaming was and how standard it was, and we got the best for our standard. Now, today and age, now fast forward to today, we have to pay for shit, and we also paying more for the base game. And why is there such a thing as a base game? There was never a base game before. EA is one of the pioneers of that, along with Capcom, along with Activision, who was probably even worse when it comes to the whole loot boxes and shit like that. I think EA got the most crap from it because Star Wars really put them on the forefront of how you can make a game to nickel and dime the shit out of people and go home and sleep well at night. And then you want to play that BS on younger gamers. EA and other companies like Activision want to say, well, games are becoming so expensive to make. Oh my God, you got to understand. No, fuck all that. I don't want to hear that mess. Make it happen. Okay, if you're going to do downloadable content, make it optional. Don't make it essential to the game. Case in point, Resident Evil 7. The only way you could have truly got the full ending of that game is to play End of Zoe, and you had to pay for that. Is that fair? Hell no. Case in point, Visual Concepts, or I'm calling them Visual Concepts, I'm sorry, 2K games, NBA 2K, the only NBA game on the market that's successful, and the virtual currency is highway robbery. You are putting real money, you're dropping real money into the game, and they are making sure that you get less bang for your buck so you can put more bucks into their pockets. People like that. And I don't understand why myself and others like me that I'm subscribed to and vice versa, I don't understand how we have to constantly argue with people saying, well, deal with it. This is just the way the gaming industry is. You gotta understand, these people, you should be happy that they are making games and stuff for you. You know, we win. We get to buy what we want. No, you don't get to buy what you want. You're getting to buy what they want. We come from a time where it was free. Think about it. Look at all the detail and love they used to put into Final Fantasy, and then they went casual. And yes, I know I'm not, when I say casual, I ain't talking about I'm some expert gamer. No, I'm not for that. I'm talking about to those who don't know the gaming industry. Those are casual people coming in like we fans. You know, we was a casual console and it sold a lot. And then the whole industry was on notice like, oh shit, nobody gives a fuck about video games with the Wii. Look what we doing. They care about their gimmick. It's selling like hotcakes. Okay? They don't know no better. That's what I'm talking about. Now, other companies capitalize on those type of gamers, so they dumb down the games. Case in point, what I'm hearing about Kingdom Hearts is ridiculous. Kingdom Hearts 3 is mediocre at best. They dumbed down the engine. They made it accessible to people who don't care about RPGs. They made it to the point that, okay, well, these people are going to buy it because it got Disney characters in it. You know, back in the day, people thought that, like, wait a minute, this is by the makers of Final Fantasy and it's combining Disney. I'm sold on it. And then when they played the game, they realized the game was fucking good. Part 1 and 2, they loved. Now 3 is catering to today's generation. I'm like, okay, I get where they're coming from a business standpoint, but you ain't got to fucking go that far with it. I mean, haven't you learned Square Enix from what you did with on Final Fantasy 15? Yeah, I told you I got that game for free when I purchased 2 other pre-owned games, and Lord, I was like, this is Final Fantasy? Really? Are you serious? It's like it lost its soul, and a lot of companies have lost their soul, and their products are byproducts of them losing their soul when it comes to making these games. They're just so, how can I say, lackluster. Like, they hold back on the content so much. But then people are still complaining also about the recent Resident Evil 2. And you know what? Who's complaining the most? I thought it would be the old school fans, but the old school fans, for the most part, aren't doing as much complaining as the casuals. And why? About the fucking difficulty. I gotta commend Capcom for making the game difficult, and it's pissing off casuals. Like, the Mr. X thing, I was like, are you serious? Like, are you guys complaining about Mr. X, his relentlessness? It's a horror game. You're supposed to feel tense. You ain't supposed to feel safe everywhere you go in the game. Okay? Now, if you got any legitimate gripes that are, like I said, keyword legitimate, yeah, feel free. Okay? Like the fact that there's no moths. I mean, there's no moths, no crows, or spiders in the game. But then again, from a developmental standpoint, a lot of those enemies are for the third over-the-shoulder perspective, third person, wouldn't fit. Like, how? Imagine trying to shoot crows with that aiming reticle that you have in this game. Imagine trying to shoot fast-moving crows. It's not gonna happen. Spiders, narrow hallways, narrow confined hallways. No way the spiders can fit in there. Get it? Dig, done that. Understand that? Okay. Moths, same shit. Like, it's the same thing. Everything in this game felt more tense and tight. So I can understand why those 3 creatures aren't in this game. I get it. And then it's just a lot of stuff. I made peace with that. That's not me justifying it. That's me looking from a technological standpoint and the design of this game. Now, if it was still static angles and they weren't in this game, I would be pissed off. But this isn't a static angle game. But as I was saying, a lot of these casuals were complaining about that. And because now EA don't have no money coming in from these casuals who were like indoctrinated on this type of gaming industry, where they feel like, you know, the loot boxes, the paywalls, all that is standard gaming practice. But Belgium is like, look, that's gambling. Let's call it what it is. It's gambling. Like, a loot box, you don't know what's in it, but you're gonna pay. Now, I can understand if you was playing zombies in Call of Duty and you racked up points and you're doing the loot box within the game, but it's the points from what you racked up from killing the fucking zombies, not your own cash. Why is this acceptable? Why would $60 is a lot for people today. It's a lot for me to be plunking down on a brand new game day one and knowing you're not getting it all, and then you have to pay for the rest of it. Whereas I can understand if you like, you know what, I got the game on day one, they already confirmed that the downloadable content will be free. It's just that we need more time to develop it. People complaining about that. Oh, it could have been on a disc. It could have been on a disc. I'm like, are you paying for it though? Are you paying for it? These games, sometimes these games got deadlines that they need to achieve. You want a half-ass broken game? Okay? Like case in point, Resident Evil. Yes, some of the data's on there. They started it. It's not finished yet. Okay? Maybe in the next generation where they got higher capacity discs than they got now, we'll wait a bit longer and get the whole game on there. But we have to dictate that as the consumers, not putting up with this. But when the casuals are starting to override and the casuals just plunking down money, they're not going to listen to people with sense. They're not going to listen to people who know the way the industry used to be, and the industry was booming back then compared to what it is now. You can tell these dumb people anything they want to hear, or anything you want them to hear, and they will fall for it. This is what these companies do. We know that the price of gaming, the cost of gaming isn't, like, developing games isn't as high as they say it is. For the simple fact, if you're using the same engine quite often, Bethesda, you would understand that these games could come out effortlessly. Now they're coming out less. Speaking of Bethesda, look at the Fallout games. You could do so much in those games, and now you can do less, and the game's still broken with 76. It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. It really is. So I hope everybody who's taking a stance against loot boxes, against DLC, the fact that these games are broken, the fact that there's just so much incomplete shit overall and so much bullshit that people put up with. I hope the people who have complained about people who just lay down and take it, I hope you continue to keep complaining. So as usual, it's 'cause I'm a Fury. I'm here and now I'm out. Peace.